I can tell you if you're the biggest Arteta outer, the biggest Kroenke outer, or the biggest Arteta inner and Kroenke inner, we both want the same thing, and that's Arsenal lifting trophies. So what frustrates me is that when you're clearly seeing in front of your eyes, unless you're blind, that they are not doing everything in their power to show the ambition to get us across the line, why aren't you angry? Don't you want to win? Don't we all want to win? Now, there's
They
different
say
ways
it
in how
themselves, then.
yeah, there's different ways in how we win. So there's different ways to go about it. I might say, I think we need to do X, Y, Z to win. You might go, yeah, I want to win as well, but I don't think we should go X, Y, Z. I think we should do this way instead. That's cool. That's a different way. But for me, what I don't get is, nah, come on, calm down. They're doing their best. Well, they're clearly not. How anyone can back up this transfer window is just beyond me. How
There's no
anyone
way
can
of
say
spinning
we
it.
had an unbelievable summer window is beyond me. And anyone can say now that the owners haven't shown their true colours is beyond me. What this process was now is clear. The process was not take this team and give it time and win successfully. It was take this team, spend some money on it, get into the top four, and we can forget about it.
And
We
we're
can go and
laughing. We're happy
concentrate
as
on our
Larry.
American teams again. And that is exactly what they've done now. We are full to the brim in the armory. There is 100,000 people on the waiting list at the Emirates. The place is rocking. Everyone's happy. The Cronkies are laughing. And we
Merchandise
haven't won
every
anything.
minute.
We haven't won anything, bro. I don't mind if that's happening whilst you're winning Champions Leagues and FA Cups and we're laughing at our rivals whilst Premier League titles are coming in, year out. We do what Manchester City and
Facts.
Chelsea have done in the last 2 decades. I'm laughing, bruv. Trust me. But we ain't getting near that. And people will say that we've had title races that have come close. Bro, they were not celebrated when I was growing up. You weren't celebrating second. You were devastated, bruv. I was walking out of Highbury so many times, losing to Sir Alex Ferguson. I wasn't celebrating it, saying, wow,
Preach.
trust the process. I was devastated.
And
Now, some of the
I'll
times,
put, sorry to cut you, but like on
yeah,
top
go on.
of that, how we was moving in the champs to back up your point as well. We weren't necessarily happy.
Facts. And the Champions League in Europe, if I'm honest with you, for the 30 to 35 years that I've been supporting the club, we've been awful in Europe. Awful. We've got to one European Cup final or Champions League final. And the only European heritage we've got is the beating Parma in 94, which I loved, by the way. But the Cup Winners' Cup and the Fairs Cup are the only two things in our history we can boast about. And let's be real, we can't boast too loudly by it, right? So the European heritage at the club has been bad as it is. Where we are in the last 2 decades, European-wise, has been shambolic, particularly in the last 10. Because for the majority of it, we've been playing outside of Europe or in the Europa League. And when we finally got ourselves back into the Champions League, we've got ourselves in a bit of a mess. So now it's about where we go next. And I don't know that this ownership and this management board manager have shown me enough to believe that they're competent to get us across the line. And that's because they haven't. If they would have got us across the line by now in that 5 years, I might be on here thinking, right, I don't think he's the right guy. I don't think this, that, and the third, talking the way I am. And people might go, what's this guy on, man? We won a bloody Premier League 2 years ago. Calm down. Mate, we haven't won a Premier League since 2004. Haven't done a League Cup, yeah, since over 30 years ago.
There's
European,
fans
I've
that
already
haven't seen us
spoken
do
about.
these things.
Fans have not seen us win a League Cup or a European Cup. They definitely haven't seen us win a Champions League. Premier Leagues and FA Cups is the only thing that I've seen us win alongside that League Cup and that European Cup Winners' Cup. So I'm sitting there as a 37-year-old going, crikey, I was 6 or 7 last time we won a League Cup. Same with a European Cup. Never
I
seen
was
a
a virgin when
Champions
we last won the Prem. It's peak, bro.
League.
That was
Bro,
peak.
it is absolutely insane.
Didn't even have hair on my balls. It's peak.
Bro, it's long
I
now.
think about this all the
And
time.
I remember when we left Highbury thinking, wow, that's insane that we have gone and done the unthinkable. We are going to dominate football for the next few years now. If I would have said to you it's going to be over 21 years before you win a Premier League title again, I would have said you were absolutely talking rubbish.
I just
If
said
I would
Daniel
have told
smoking
you,
crack.
bruv, 1990, Liverpool won the league. If I would have told you it's going to take 30 years for them to win another one, you would have told me I was off my rocker. Yeah? That's how quickly it is. It's been 21 years for us already. It's probably
You'd have
going
been
to be
smoking
longer
something
than that.
stronger than Troops, man. Shout out Troops. I would have looked at you like
Yeah,
you're mad.
big up to Troops, man. But I look at it and I feel like, do you know what? There's 100% problems at this club, and it isn't just one person. But do you know where the most of it lies? Right at the top. Because when things go wrong within your business, you look at the business owner. When things go wrong within your workplace, you look to your CEO. You don't look at the admin girl, do you? You don't look
Exactly.
at the guy who's coming, the janitor or the cleaner. You look at the guy at the top and say, what's happening here, bro? What's happening here? So, look, Mikel Arteta needs to hold an L, and I'll tell you why he needs to hold an L. He went into the office in 2022 and said, you see that goal scorer, the one who gets all our goals, I want him out. And they're like, rah, what? He's the one keeping us into this. What's going on here? He's won us an FA Cup. He's done X, Y, Z. Now I want him gone. He's toxic. I want him out the dressing room. He's disrespected me. It's going to cost you £8 million, but you're going to have to do it. These owners are like, I mean, your voice is powerful enough to say, yeah, do what you want. Let's do it. Get rid of him then. So why has his voice not been powerful enough this window to say, have you seen our front line? It's depleted. I ain't got anyone. So I ain't winning nothing this year unless you provide me with some funds to do X, Y, and Z. What we got in the bank. And they've either said, we ain't paying you anymore, mate. Sorry. Or they've decided, let's just wait until the summer, Mikel, and you'll get a war chest.
Or he might have turned down he might have turned down any, and he's within his rights, I guess, but he has to hold it. Like they could have suggested him players, and then he said no for whatever. That's what I think is everyone.
That's the other option. That's the other option. There's the ones out there that he don't want yet, right? Either way, somebody has to be held massively accountable, and heads need to roll for what they. Now, listen, we go win the Champions League, Premier League. They've got away with one, right? We ain't going to, DG. Let's just be realistic about this, right? We ain't going to, unfortunately, go and win the Premier League or the Champions League.
I'd love to say you're wrong.
We're going to win. Yeah, Liverpool going to win this league, in my opinion. And the Champions League's probably going to be run like it is every year by a Real Madrid, Bayern Munich type club, right? Barcelona maybe this year, or Liverpool even, right? So it ain't going to be Arsenal, unfortunately. That's negative. That's toxic. No, it's realistic, unfortunately. We did not enough in the summer and the January transfer, which is now clear because everyone's gone silent. Everyone that was trying to back it up, oh, come on, love, stay positive, stay hopeful. They're all now silent because they know, right? They know it's done and dusted. The club have completely taken our legs. So heads need to roll for that. Now, people will say it can't be Mikel Arteta. It can't be him. It's got to be the Kroenkes at the issue. I agree with it. They are definitely the bigger issue than Mikel Arteta. But why is Mikel Arteta saying, oh, yeah, it's not me. It's, oh, they can't give me much. Yeah, I'll give me that contract. Then I'll have 15 million a year and I'll shut up. You're to blame then, Mikel. Because if you're not coming out and walking away from this, or you're not coming out and saying the truth, I don't want you at the club, man. Get the hell out of it. Because for me, you need to walk and say, no, I'm not putting myself through this. I'm not being embarrassed by
that. You saw Conte do at Spurs. But do you reckon, obviously, no two things are the same yet. Do you reckon, like, because some say he reminds them, Arteta unfortunately reminds people of like the latter day Wenger years. Some people have accused us, Arteta of being like a Kroenke shield. Where are you at with that as well? To go on with what you're saying.
Yeah, I think that is bang on. I think that's bang on. I look at it now and I think Arsene Wenger loved the club. I genuinely do. And I'm not saying Arteta didn't or doesn't. I think he genuinely does as well. I think both of these managers are perfect for the Kroenkes because they know they love the club. They know they're respected in the club, whether it be as
and
a
he's got
player
sweet
or a manager.
You've got to be real.
Yeah, and do you know what they can do? We'll give you a shitload of money. Keep that stum. Tell everyone we're the best ownerships you've ever worked with. Tell people that we're hungry. Tell people that we back them, that we support him. The support is unreal, and we'll make sure you're sorted out. And then we, in turn, can do whatever we want at this club to bring money in. And that's why their priorities as an ownership is to make the Emirates better. How about go and sign some players to make the Emirates better? Because if I said to you now, do you want the best stadium in the world or do you want the best trophy in the world? You're taking the trophy. Yeah,
I don't give a flying monkeys about this stadium. All that stuff is superficial, man. Like, of course, I want the best everything. If some random, I don't know, some random thing about Arsenal has made the most revenue, I don't care about that. Like, and that's something in my 29 years I've come to see in the this kind of period, in that all this FFP and all these other things. I only care about my team winning on a match day or winning trophies or being competitive. Now, I will give Arteta his credit. As I said, I don't, even if you think Arteta is not the guy, for me personally, you can't, I'm not saying Dan or anyone behaves like this. I don't think anyone can behave like he's got us in relegation form, we're rubbish, is this and that. I praise you for the rebuild that some of it was self-inflicted, some of it was inherited. Either way, we've got ourselves to a platform. For me, it's a one love thing. It's now about, can you get over the line? And every year that we find ourselves with Arteta unable to do that within the context of whatever I have to say about the Kroenkes, that question gets bigger. Whatever way I look at it, since we've won the FA Cup, our domestic performances in the domestic trophies ain't been good enough. And I think a lot of people forget, definitely under Wenger, of course we've done a couple of doubles, but there was times we were winning the FA Cup, we were shit in the league, you know, like we even got to our Europa League final being shit in the league. So it's for me, it's for the players and everyone. It's now about getting over the line. I don't really, in a nice way, I don't really care about what we're good at. I know what we're good at. I said this, big up Alex. I said this, I did a stream with him. I said this then. It's like, if I know I've got a science test and I know I can ace chemistry in my sleep, why am I going to focus on revising for chemistry? I need to look at biology and those fine margins, because when you deep it throughout a 38 game calendar, there's about 3, 4 to 5 games that really and truly sum up if we're going to get over the line. So again, as much as, and we're going to stay on the Cronkies, as much as I'm drawing out the Cronkies, Arteta needs to show me he can work within the prisons. We can't sit here and say you need more money, which I think he does, and needs more backing, and then get at them. You know the job you signed up for. You got a new deal. Personally, I think we all need to accept the Cronkies aren't going anywhere. Whether you think Arteta is or isn't the guy, he signed a new deal. They're not getting rid of that. It kind of is what it is in that regards. I want to ask, and in fact, before I carry on with what I was saying, yeah, great, appreciate you. And I'm not saying you're saying this, but it's comments like this, and I'm going to read it out. Our fans are so entitled sometimes. We never dominated English football, so why are we demanding so much now? I'm 45. My first title was 89. Teams are progressing well under Arteta. And I'm not saying he's saying this. The team has been progressing. This year, I think it's stagnating, but there's been a correlation, right? We haven't been a team that's dominated. That's an aspiration. That's what we want to do. That's what the players and Mikel Arteta say. I don't think Dan or me or anyone is demanding us to do what City is doing, will have done. We'd love that. But there's been opportunities to get silverware. There's been opportunities to get trophies. And I think everybody forgets. The club are telling us this. And I can't lie. I think comments like that, it gaslights fans. I'm not speaking for fans that act entitled, but we are gearing up to win a trophy. And it's got to be more physically draining than anything for these players getting so close. But so far, you know, Saka's been part of a couple title races. You throw in England getting to 2 finals. We need to start learning to get over the line. We haven't retained the Premier League trophy, for example. We've never been that club that's been dominating. We've won a couple battles and lost the war. I just feel we deserve to get over the line. That's the ambition, because what is our mandate? Okay, we know the Cronkies want top 4, but we know Arteta and the players want to win a trophy. So then you can't big up Arteta, big up our club, and not hold us to these high, and I'm speaking for rational fans, rational standards. The man himself wants to win a trophy. I don't think Dan or me or anyone is too illogical thinking a team that finished second can't, like, the aspiration should be a title. Now, I think when you look at what Arteta wants to do, I think his heart's in the right place. Whether he's doing everything I like is another thing. The Cronkies, you look at the window we had in January, much less the summer, that tells you everything. These men are comfortable. They don't want to get over the line. Yes, you can paint and say, regardless, as I said, Arteta's got to work within whatever he's working within. Has he spent money in the best way? Has he got made L's? Of course he has. But I just think that's gaslighting. And that's what I go back to what you said, Dan, in that some fans, younger fans, ain't seen us be serious. And some older fans remember how crap we used to be, and then obviously we're right now. And I think a lot of that is placed in hopium or whatever they call it. And for me, a bit like what Dan said, I'm with Dan and Curtis. I have checked out. I checked out in the summer. I got a lot of heat for it. I said, based on that window, I just need to answer myself 2 questions. Have we improved the starting 11? No, there was no striker. There was no winger. There wasn't a game changer, long-term partner for Declan Rice. Did we improve the depth? Now, I can waffle about Fabio Vieira not being recalled, being loaned out, Smith Rowe gone. We never done that. So we're not collectively putting our best foot forward. You know, 4 competitions with a squad of 19 that the gaffer said with 3 or 4 long-term injuries isn't good. The manager said at the beginning and end of 2024, right, we've got one of the smallest squads. So when I'm seeing the good from it and I'm seeing other things, it's not making sense for me, Dan. And I don't think Dan is sitting here and saying we must be Real Madrid, we must be City, we must be Barca, or etc. Nobody is saying that. But there's been chances to get silverware, and I think that in terms of getting over the line, I do think that's with Arteta. If I'm completely honest with you, I feel sorry for the players, Dan, because what do you? In fact, that's a good question. What do you think of the players? Because we're going to stay on the Cronkies, but we're speaking about the ownership. We're speaking about Arteta. The players, Declan Rice come out and said, "Right, Tini had to play left wing. I'm sure the gaffer will do something." They know they're missing key players. Where do you think the players' mindset is, and do you think they've been hard done by?
Yeah, I feel sorry for them the most, if I'm honest. I feel sorry for people like Saliba when Real Madrid are sniffing around him. And I feel sorry for players like Declan Rice, who was sold a dream when he came for 105 million that he was going to be winning trophies. I feel sorry for players like Bukayo Saka, who's been taking us across the line as an 18-year-old. I say across the line, you know what I mean? Has been dragging us.
He's been carrying the team for time.
Carrying the team, that's the term I should use, since the age of 18. And I feel sorry for the players that have been left now in the trenches on their own. to get us across the line. Players like Trossard, Sterling, players like Martinelli when he's back, Ethan Nwaneri, Erdegaard. These are the players now that I'm looking at thinking, yeah, you're the ones that have got to do the business for us. Are you good enough? I don't think so, but you're going to have to be. Otherwise, you're not going to win anything this season. So that's why I feel sorry for him. The reason I don't really agree with comments like Gray has made there is the word entitled. Now, I could totally appreciate if he was saying to a Manchester City fan, cracky, stop moaning. How entitled are you? Just on a
If they were screaming pep out and all that, like, you got no right to be doing
just on a treble and a four-peat. What the hell are you moaning about, you entitled fans? Nah, we're starving, bro. Don't compare us to Man City. Yeah, because in the last 2 decades, Chelsea and Man City have left us dead in the water in terms of what they've won. We're still starving. This is like going up to a poor, starving orphan and going, oh, a bit entitled. Do you want some food, mate?
Wants a crumb of bread. How
Come
dare
on,
you?
man. Like, let's just be real here.